All right, what's happening? Honors Integrated 2. Thought I'd do a couple problems real quick. Some people asked me for number 7, and I'm also going to do number 9. So here's number 7. Here's the squared term. Remember, the parentheses make it behave as if it's one term. So I'm just going to take the square root here to cancel that out. And of course, whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. And this is going to leave me with 2x minus 3 equals, now everybody together, what's the square root of 4? And don't say just 2. Everybody, it's what? Plus or minus 2. Good job. Now, what does that mean? It literally means, once again, plus or minus 2 literally means that this thing right here equals both positive 2 and negative 2. So I need to set up two equations then like this. I'll do 2x minus 3 equals positive 2 and 2x minus 3 equals negative 2. Notice this is the only thing that changes here and here. And that's because of this. So now I just need to solve both of them. And when I solve both of them, I go like this. I add 3 here and add 3 here. I know you guys got this. This equals 5. When you divide by 2, you get x equals 5 over 2, or 2.5, but I'll take that. This is the same, add 3 and add 3 here. This goes away. 2x equals 1, divide by 2, and x equals 1/2. There we go. Any questions? Any questions? Kidding. This is a video. All right, take a look at it. Pause it. All right, then. And here's number 9, a little bit different for sure, only because this is not isolated. I got that negative 3 there, so I'll divide by the negative 3 to get rid of it, which is very convenient because that's going to make that positive, and that's good. So this is x plus 2 quantity squared equals, this is a 6. Well, that's going to give me a little bit of a problem, but not too much of a problem. Here, watch. This is how we get that weird looking answer. I'm going to take a square root of both sides like this. And, of course, what happens? This cancels that. That's perfect. I get x plus 2 equals. Now, what is the square root of 6? You could use your calculator. You could turn it into simplest radical form, but this turns out to actually be simplest radical form. So the square root of 6, that's about as good as it gets. But notice I put that plus or minus sign in there. Now, this is where we need to start getting used to something new, because I'm going to subtract 2 like this just to solve out for x. But how do I write that? What is this going to be? Well, here's the tradition. This is typically the way it works. This negative 2 slides in front, and then it's plus or minus the square root of 6. On the answer key, you probably saw x equaling 2 answers, and that's when they split it up. Negative 2 plus radical 6 and negative 2 minus radical 6. But this answer right here is perfectly acceptable because we have the plus or minus right there. Take a good long look at it. Okay, so here's the example that I was referring to in yesterday's video. I said example 4. Well, clearly it's example 3, and I can't count, despite the fact that I teach math. One way or another, take a look at it. It's this 1.5x that you need to take a look at. You got, the length equals x and the width is 1.5 times, or 1/2 times that. So you get that x times 1/2 x and then 1/2 x squared. Get rid of the 1/2 by multiplying by 2 on both sides. Take the square root. You get 2 answers. And you always, when we're dealing with real world problems, you always ignore the negative answer because typically you can't have a negative time or a negative distance. But read through that and check back on those word problems later in the section. Here are some of the answers for those word problems. There we go. There's 16 and 17. Notice, see, there's that 1.25x again, and it says 1.25 times longer, just like that example does. Take a look at this one. This was interesting. Did you know you could divide by pi? Look at that. Of course you can. Now, it looks kind of funny, right? But that's okay. How'd they get the 12? Where'd that 12 come from? Well, the square root of 144 is 12. And then how about 18 and 19? Remember to pause these videos.